Hare Krishna. So we are continuing to see the opulences spoken by Krishna himself in chapter 10. Let's see Shloka number 32 and 33. Sargāṇām ādir antaś madhyaṁ caivāham Arjuna adhyātma-vidyā vidyānāṁ vādaḥ pravadatām aham. Text 33. akṣarāṇām a-kāro dvandvaḥ sāmāsikasya ca aham evākṣayaḥ kālo dhātāhaṁ viśvato-mukhaḥ. So in text 33, Krishna starts with sargāṇām ādir antaś madhyaṁ ca aham Arjuna. So he's saying that of all the creation, I am the beginning and the middle and the end, O Arjuna. Now see in Shloka number 20, let's go back to Shloka number 20. And in Shloka number 20 also, there was a statement that he made, that he said, aham ādischa madhyam cha bhūtānāṁ anta eva cha. He said, I am the beginning, the middle and the end. And here also he's saying, I am the beginning, I am the middle and the end. So what is the difference? So in Shloka number 20, the word bhūtānāṁ is very important. So he's saying that I am the beginning, middle and the end of all the beings, all the living beings. And in this Shloka, 32 Shloka, he's saying sargāṇām. The word sargāṇām is important, and that means the material creation. So basically Krishna is saying, I am the beginning, the middle and the end of this entire material creation. So this is what he's talking about. So here it's given that among the created manifestation, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakṣayi Vishnu and Shirodakṣayi Vishnu. And then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is the secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance and annihilation are incarnations of the material qualities of Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle and the end of all creation. So from Lord Vishnu or Garbhodakṣayi Vishnu, to be more specific, comes Brahma. And Brahma is the creator, the secondary creator of this universe. And Shirodakṣayi Vishnu, who is the expansion of Garbhodakṣayi Vishnu, who enters each and every atom and the bodies, who is called as Paramatma. So he is the maintainer. And from Brahma comes Rudra or Lord Shiva, who is the annihilator. So who is the source of all of them? The source is Garbhodakṣayi Vishnu or Vishnu. So here Krishna is saying that I am that which is the beginning of this creation, the middle or the maintenance part of this creation, and the end, the annihilation part of this creation. So I am the one who is doing all that. So I am the beginning, middle and the end of this entire creation. So this is what he's saying in the first line, first two lines, and then he says, adhyātma-vidyā vidyānāṁ. Of all science, I am the spiritual science of the self. So here it is given the purport. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as the 4 Vedas. So hope we know the 4 Vedas, very famous. And then there are 6 supplements. So let me name these 6 supplements which are there. They are called as Veda Anga, or the 6 Angas of Vedas. So they are Shiksha. Shiksha means pronunciation. So these are the supplements for the Vedas. Shiksha, pronunciation. Chanda, meter. And then Vyakarana, that is grammar. Then Nirukta is meaning. And Jyotisha, that is astrology. And Kalpa, that is ritual. So these 6 are called as Vedangas, or the 6 supplements of the Vedas. That's what Prabhupada is talking about here. The 4 Vedas and their 6 supplements. And now there are 4 other categories of books. The first one is Vedanta Sutra, then books of logic, and books of religiosity, that is Dharma Shastra and the Puranas. So altogether there are 14 divisions of books of education. So 4 Vedas and the 6 supplements, so 10. And the 4 books after that, Vedanta Sutra, then books of logic, so this can be Mimamsa or Nyaya, and books of religiosity, Dharma Shastra and Purana. So these are the 4. So these 14 books. Out of that, of these, the book which represents adhyātma-vidyā, the spiritual knowledge in particular, the Vedanta Sutra represents Krishna. So the book which speaks about the topmost thing, firstly about the spiritual aspect, the adhyātma-vidyā, and more importantly, which takes that knowledge up to the platform of Krishna Prema. That book is glorified here, and that is Vedanta Sutra. And the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Amala Purana. There is no contamination of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which just talks about Krishna Prema. So Krishna is saying, I am that book, Vedanta Sutra. And then he says, vādaḥ pravadatām aham. Among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So here it is given. Among logicians, there are different kinds of argument. So when it comes to logicians, obviously there will be arguments all the time, and a person will try to prove himself better than other one. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called jalpa. So there are 3 kinds of arguments basically. So we have jalpa, and then we have something called as vādaḥ and vitanda. Now this is a very nice thing to analyze. What are these? A bit technical, just to have information. Now when it comes to the first one that we just read, that is jalpa. So jalpa, when both parties desire to win, so there is a mood of winning in both the parties. But then what are they doing? They're trying to establish their opinions. So both of them are giving opinions, but here the specific thing is with the establishment of the proofs. They're giving proofs and arguments, and they're refuting the opponent's view, the opponent's argument with various things. So there are 3 specific, which is mentioned here: circumvention, that is chala, then false generalization, jati, and syllogistic fault, that is nigrahasthana. So this category of argument is called as jalpa. Now let's see what is vitanda. Here it is given, merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called vitanda. So when there is argument that is going on, so when one party refutes the opponent's view without establishing his own opinion, such an argument is called as vitanda. Now in the first one, they were interested to establish their side with their opinion. But here, there is without establishment of own opinion. So this is a different category called vitanda. But now see, in both these categories, what is happening? One thing is common: desire to win is common. So when there is a desire to win, it's almost proving oneself better and things like that. There is no conclusive truth in this. But then there is something called as vādaḥ. So vādaḥ means that simply display that discussion having a desire for truth is called vādaḥ. So here it is given, merely trying to, the actual conclusion is called vādaḥ. This conclusive truth is a representation of Krishna. So when there is an argument that is going on with a mood to establish the absolute truth or mood to establish the truth, that is called as vādaḥ. So here Krishna is saying that out of all these arguments that is there, which logicians have, that is the first one jalpa, then vitanda and vādaḥ, Krishna is saying, I am actually vādaḥ, which represents or which establishes the conclusive truth. And then he continues in the next shloka, akṣarāṇām a-kāro. So of the letters, I am letter A. So this A is not the letter A, B, C, D wala A. Here we are talking about the Sanskrit alphabet, A. So a-kāro. A-kāro, the first letter of Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. So hope we all have learned this. A, I, so that A we are talking about. Without a-kāro, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are so this is beginning of the sound basically. So this is a-kāro. So when we're talking about this a-kāro, Now we need to understand that without this a-kāro, it will be very difficult to produce any sound. This a-kāro is there in various sounds. And then it is very nicely mentioned here about dvandvaḥ sāmāsikasya cha. Dvandvaḥ sāmāsikasya cha. So among the dual compounds, among compound words, I am the dual compound. So again, now this is more technical, this related to the Sanskrit grammar and things like that. So here, there are many types of compound words. To be more specific, the names of these compounds are avyayī-bhāva, tat-purusha, and bahuvrihi. So these are the three categories of the compound words. But in these three categories, the problem is, we cannot say problem, but the speciality is that one element is given more importance than the other. So there are two words, so one element is given more importance than the others. But then here Krishna is saying dvandva. Dvandva, or the dual compound which is there, that is special as compared to the other three. Why? Because in dual compound or dvandva, both the elements are given equal importance. So that's what is the point that is made here. In Sanskrit, there are many compound words of which the dual word like Rama Krishna is called dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form and therefore the compound is called dual. Now Krishna is entering into Sanskrit grammar also and he is saying that among all the compounds, I am dvandva or dual compound. And then he continues where he says, aham evākṣayaḥ kālo. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna because in due course of time, there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. So here, when we are talking about time again, because we have already spoken once in the previous shloka, so now when we are talking about time here, we are not talking about the time factor, but we are talking about the indestructible kālo. So this represents the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarshan at the time of annihilation. So this is that thing that we're talking about at the time of pralaya or universal destruction. So here Krishna is saying that I am that inexhaustible time, referring to that fire, the fire of pralaya or universal destruction. The last line says, dhātāhaṁ viśvato-mukhaḥ. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahmā, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of Supreme Lord Krishna. So in this world, we have various types of creators. We have so many chutku creators around. Even we might be creators, creating something. But then, in this universe, if we consider the topmost creator in the living entity category, that is Lord Brahmā. So the Lord Brahmā is that living entity or the first living entity who got the knowledge from Lord Vishnu. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. The first shloka, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter. So so this line makes it very clear that the knowledge was given by the Lord to Brahma. It was revealed in the heart of Brahma when Brahma was doing tapasya on the lotus flower which sprouted from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So Brahma is that personality who did the secondary creation in this universe. And now whatever we are doing, that is in no ways in comparison to Lord Brahma, what he has done. So when it comes to all the creators on this planet, in this universe, Krishna is saying that I am that Brahma, the 4-headed one. So in this way again, Krishna has very, very wonderfully, he has spoken about his opulences. These opulences are very important because when we see any group, and when we see a person who is really shining in that group, we understand that shining person or that shining thing is none other than our very dear Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna, when he is very clearly mentioning about his opulences, so that we remember him very nicely whenever we see these different things. Let's continue our discussion. Let's see more opulences in future videos. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,